You know, there's some people are saying that Djibouti is a small village. It is not a small village anywhere. Chad. Djibouti is a country on its own. Chad defeated us for AUC seat.
Yeah, true.
Chad defeated us on the AUC seat. So no one should, at any place, no one should call Djibouti any name. Djibouti is a country on its own, and it can defeat Kenya at any time. It should also be out there that AUC has favored many people who are diplomats. Of course, Raila Odinga is not a diplomat. Uganda voted for Kenya in the first round. But when went for the second round, Uganda did not vote for Kenya. Up to the seventh round, Uganda didn't vote for Kenya. Yeah. So that was the first blow that Kenya had, because Uganda is, it's given that Uganda will support Kenya. We share a lot with Uganda. Yes. We share a border. We share people. We share languages with Uganda. We share a lot with Uganda. Yeah. And for Uganda not to support Kenya, it raised alarm now, even in other countries that are far away from Kenya.
So you mean that these guys are supporting us just with mouth?
Of course, Francophone have many countries than Anglophone in Africa. Yeah, we are not the majority on this side, because you'll find that Francophone has lots of small countries also. Mostly in the West Africa, they have small countries that will count as one vote, So at the end of the day, if you're putting the scales on Francophone versus Anglophone, we will never win. We will never have that seat.
My question.
Yes.
Can Raila Amolo Odinga win the seat and 2027 comes again and vie? Can he? These are the mistakes that I think Raila Amolo Odinga should never do for him if he wants to win the AU chairmanship.
Exactly. Hello guys, welcome to yet another great session that we're having today. And today, Jeff, we want to speak about Raila Odinga and his quest to have the AUC chairmanship. And further, we want to discuss it in the view of another session where Kenya had to front a candidate, that is Amina Mohamed, and what went wrong during that session.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are the mistakes that I think Raila Amolo Odinga should never do for him if he wants to win the AU chairmanship.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, because Kenya was in that same situation in 2017, and Kenya fronted Amina Mohamed, the then foreign secretary of the country, under Uhuru's regime, and the government used all the resources that could have been used to make sure that Amina Mohamed gets that seat. But what happened is a lot of malice in between, because the first thing that happened is what I usually say happens in even relationships, personal relationships, that you have very high expectations and then someone betrays you. Yeah. Do you know when you are looking up to someone and you know that this is a sure bet, this guy will support me. But when that push comes to shove, when that time comes, they don't support you. True. And I'm speaking about Uganda. Uganda voted they went for 7 good rounds. And in these 7 rounds, they tried to find the AUC chairperson. When they vote and then you're not selected, they remove the last person so that they can get 2/3 majority of the one who is going to win. So Uganda voted for Kenya in the first round. But when went for the second round, Uganda did not vote for Kenya. Up to the 7th round, Uganda didn't vote for Kenya. Yeah. So that was the first blow that Kenya had, because Uganda is, it's given that Uganda will support Kenya. We share a lot with Uganda. Yes. We share a border. We share people. We share languages with Uganda. We share a lot with Uganda. Yeah. And for Uganda not to support Kenya, it raised alarm now, even in other countries that are far away from Kenya.
So you mean that these guys are supporting us just with mouth?
Yeah.
That is just word of mouth, but action is different.
That is exactly what diplomacy is, because in a matter of seconds, and as we are going to discuss here, even the statements that Raila is making right now are very crucial. He has to watch his statement. He has to watch what he's saying, because any little statement that goes off will lose him a lot of votes.
And what I can say is that Raila should never ever do what he did during the general election.
Exactly.
Where he relaxed and he didn't do anything.
Yes.
You saw what happened.
Yes.
It cost him a lot with 200,000 votes, which William Ruto won with.
And do you remember the time when Raila came out and said that churches should be closed in a time of a general election. That lost him a lot of votes. So this is not the time for Raila to do the same mistakes that he did. He should not go out and start speaking the same way I saw during the last weekend. He spoke something that was a little bit national and he should not now speak about national issues. He should speak about African issues. Those are the ones that are going to sell him, because right now anything Raila does, anything William Ruto does, anything Musalia Mudavadi does and say will affect the candidacy of Raila Odinga. So I know William Ruto is very, very cautious with his words. I know Mudavadi is very cautious with his words, but Raila Odinga,
like what he posted yesterday, Raila Amolo Odinga with Governor Sakaja.
Exactly.
Relaxing in his farm. So when the president of other country will see this, you see that this guy is now comfortable. He's not even sure that he's going to win. So Raila should not be comfortable. And Raila should stay away from media and should stay away from everything concerning people. Like Governor Sakaja, you know very well that this guy has been into scandal after scandal. You know very well that even the people of Nairobi, right now, they blame Sakaja for so many things. Seeing Raila Amolo Odinga and Sakaja the same, it sounds, there's something that people are saying that, I think that the nini being stolen in Pelekwa huko.
Exactly. So that is a very big factor that Uganda did not vote for Kenya at that time. Secondly, our other neighbors, Burundi, and specifically Burundi and Djibouti, also did not vote for Kenya at that time, because Djibouti had not fronted a candidate during that one. But these are East African countries. We expect that our East African brothers or sisters will vote for us when that time comes. But Burundi did not vote for Kenya. Uganda voted for Kenya only on round 1. And Djibouti did not vote for Kenya either way. So you're seeing there is some kind of disunity. These are the solid blocks that we are supposed to rely on. These are the solid blocks that are supposed to be sure bets. When President Ruto on Tuesday, the other Tuesday, brought East African leaders to is it KCC or
KCC.
And they had that discussion about having East African presidents supporting the candidacy of Raila Odinga. That was a show of unity. It's a very good show of unity, but it's a long way. That is August, or that is September, and we have till February. That is a very long way to say that you have a sure support from these people.
And this guy from Djibouti is down, campaigning. Campaigning. Even right now, people don't know whatever that this guy is doing. So this guy tactic of campaigning is very brilliant.
So something else that also should be taken into context is the Moroccan factor. And that is a whole story, because over time, Kenya has never been in very close contact with Morocco. If you're looking at previous administrations in Kenya, we have not been close to Morocco for a reason, because Morocco has this area or the region towards the south of Morocco. It's called the Sahrawi or Western Sahara. So the Western Sahara has a contention with Morocco in that they are saying we need to be a country on our own. But the problem now comes when Morocco says that Western Sahara is not going anywhere. That is part of our land and you're not going to be independent. So that has been the contention. And a country that is bordering Morocco, that is to the east, is Algeria. Algeria has been supporting Western Sahara. In one way or another, they are saying, let Western Sahara be independent. Let Western Sahara have the chance to vote and do a referendum and secede from Morocco if they want. But here comes Morocco saying that, yes, you can have a referendum, but the entire Morocco is going to vote. It's not only Western Sahara. And the referendum will be done on our terms. So if the referendum is done in Morocco's terms, it means that that election might be skewed to favor Morocco, So Algeria has been out saying that let Western Sahara be independent. The AU and the UN have taken those positions, saying that let Western Sahara determine its future. Now, for a very long time, even Kenya has been aligning to the AU and the UN position on Western Sahara, that let Western Sahara determine its future.
Yeah.
That is not what Morocco wants. So during the campaigns in 2017, Amina Mohamed went to Algeria and specifically went to the government of Western Sahara. I think it was based in Algeria at that time. And he went to campaign right at the government of Western Sahara to show that when I become the AUC chairperson, perhaps I will support Western Sahara. Yeah. So that angered Morocco. It really angered Morocco. And Morocco took up on its own to start specifically to the campaign Amina Mohamed from winning. And it was very public. It didn't shy off from anyone. Morocco went public and campaigned Amina Mohamed, gathered some votes and made sure those votes are not going to Amina Mohamed and that Amina Mohamed will not be the AUC chairperson. So that is a very big factor. But fortunately, right now, President Ruto is a little bit closer to Morocco.
Yes.
You remember when President Ruto, first of all, during the first, I think it was the first day after inauguration, by the way, the Western Saharan president was here. But just after inauguration, President Ruto wrote a tweet, and said that Kenya will not recognize Western Sahara. Yeah. So it was, I think it was I can call it a careless tweet because it was deleted later. Yeah. But that showed that Kenya is changing its stance on Morocco. Yeah. And Kenya went closer to Morocco, partly because we have our fertilizer program here in Kenya. True. That really depends on Morocco because Morocco is among the largest exporters of fertilizer across the world. So Kenya went close to Morocco, and it means that right now, maybe if Raila Odinga will be the chairperson, he will not have an issue with Morocco. So there are specific guidelines that Raila Odinga has to follow. And when you're looking at the issue within Algeria and Morocco, it's not to say that Algeria will not take offense if Kenya becomes very close to Morocco. So Raila Odinga has to, or Kenya, or that Musalia Mudavadi, MFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has to really walk on a tight line to make sure that you don't offend Morocco and you don't offend Algeria. You make sure that you play your ball well and get the favor of both. Because if you step on the toes of one, the other one will take it upon themselves to campaign you. And if you're looking at the stakes in these elections, if 2017 they had to go all the way to the 7th round, this one is going to be even stiffer. Because right now, the nations will be divided. Of course, Raila Odinga has his support. Mohamed Youssef has his support. And there are only 2 or 3 countries that are going to be definitive in this. So it is very important.
Kenya.
Yes, it is very important that they make sure they have all these countries singing their song. So that is the Moroccan factor. Another thing that happened in 2017 is the fact that the SADC region, to some extent, failed to support Kenya. At first, the SADC had their own candidate because at that time, a candidate could come from any region. SADC had their candidate, and this candidate supported Kenya. This candidate, did not get the threshold. So the fact that she did not get the threshold, she was removed in the first few rounds to only leave Amina Mohamed and Musa Faki. Now, when these 2 were left, SADC had to choose between either Musa Faki or Amina Mohamed. The SADC chose they chose Amina Mohamed because for some reason they sided with us. And then they didn't last to the last round. They reached to a point they said they're not going to vote and they abstained. Now, when they abstained, of course, that is when Amina Mohamed lost.
So Amina Mohamed lost by how many votes?
It is not, because it is secret ballot, you really cannot know how many votes were cast differently or how they were cast. But what we know is that SADC abstained towards the end, and that just tipped the scale and favored Musa Faki heavily. And the AUC, or if you're looking at the African region, SADC has about 15 countries. So those are a lot of countries. So if they don't support you, and you're a person who's depending really on these people to defend you, then you cannot get two-thirds.
Can Raila Amolo Odinga win the AU seat and also come 2027 and vie again?
That's where and we are going to the last factor now. The last factor that really played out in 2017. And by the way, 2017 is the first time that Moussa Faki was coming in. Moussa Faki was a former prime minister of Chad, and also he was at the foreign affairs. He dealt with also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Chad. So he knew, he's a diplomat. He knew extensively what is supposed to happen in AUC. So what happened also is, and this is the last factor, the fourth factor, was the Francophone versus Anglophone. And that played out very well, to the extent that Macky Sall, who was the president of Senegal at that time, called the Djiboutian president at the last minute, and they had a sit down and made the Djiboutian president not to support us and to support Chad. Francophone versus Anglophone. And if you're putting that scale in that manner, of course, Francophone have many countries than Anglophone in Africa.
Yeah,
we are not the majority on this side, because you'll find that Francophone has lots of small countries also. Mostly in the West Africa, they have small countries that will count as one vote, So at the end of the day, if you're putting the scales on Francophone versus Anglophone, we will never win. We will never have that seat. But I think now Raila Odinga can learn from those. The Francophone and Anglophone, the Francophone and Anglophone will come to play even in this one.
Yeah.
And he has to make sure that he goes over that. And we saw him in China trying to speak with the president of Chad. He tried to speak to presidents of West Africa. He tried as much as possible also to reach out to presidents in South Africa. We saw him with the president of Zambia.
Yes.
And even yesterday, Mudavadi went to Namibia. So he's trying to reach out to SADC. So there are reaches in different regions. And it shows the kind of strive that Kenya is putting on this.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, my friend. It is not easy. If at all, Jeff, if at all Chad, how many people know Chad? How many even people know where Chad is? How many people know the capital city of Chad? How many people know the development in Chad compared to Kenya? Very few. There's some people are saying that Djibouti is a small village. It is not a small village anywhere. Chad. Djibouti is a country on its own. Chad defeated us for AUC seat.
Yeah, true.
Chad defeated us on the AUC seat. So no one should, at any place, no one should call Djibouti any name. Djibouti is a country on its own, and it can defeat Kenya at any time. So we should not, by any way, call Djibouti names and term it as a country that cannot defeat Kenya. Diplomacy doesn't work like that. Diplomacy works in a very funny way, that they can even try as much as possible not allow Kenya to win and allow any other person to win. So those are the challenges that Raila Odinga is going to face. And he has to make sure that he goes over these challenges to get that seat.
My question.
Yes.
Can Raila Amolo Odinga win the seat and 2027 comes again and vie? Can he?
Raila Odinga can win this seat. It is possible for him to win this seat. Why? Because Kenya vied in 2017, as we are saying, and didn't get that seat. So there are countries that feel obligated to make sure that this time they stick with Kenya. Because at that time, maybe they had different agreements, maybe they had different ambitions and different, asks from Moussa Faki that could not be achieved from Kenya. But right now, I think Kenya will go with that kind of a slogan that we were here, we asked for your support, you didn't give us. This is the second time. Can you please give us your support, assure us your support now, so that we can even show an Africa that is diverse, because you gave a Francophone country last time. And by the way, there's only one among all AUC chairpersons that have existed, only one from Anglophone. So it means that there is no that diversity. We've not been given that diversity to be at the helm of AUC. So that is the narrative that Kenya can go with and convince presidents that, it is our time now. kindly allow us, because you are here and we didn't get it. We are here again asking for your votes. Can you give us? So Raila Odinga has a chance to win, basing on the fact that he will go with a Kenyan banner and not just Raila Odinga. But it should also be out there that AUC has favored many people who are diplomats. Of course, Raila Odinga is not a diplomat, but he has been a prime minister. AUC also looks at Pan-Africanism and Raila checks on that. So it is a 50-50 game, but I will put my bet still on Raila Odinga. Yes.
My question is that if Raila Amolo Odinga wins the AU seat, can he drop the seat and come back and fight 2027 in the presidential election in Kenya?
Yes, that is a possibility if he steps down from the AU seat and never come back. He will never return in that seat. That one I can guarantee, because this is an international level seat. You cannot just leave at your leisure and come back and say that I left, I maybe have not gotten that seat, the elective seat, I want to come back. No. Once you leave, that's it. It's like Muhisa Kitui. What Muhisa Kitui did, he left UNCTAD, the UN organ for trade, and Muhisa Kitui has never been anywhere close to the UN. Once you leave, you leave. So Raila Odinga can go for that AUC seat, can win if God wills. And if he gets there, if he still wants to be involved in Kenyan politics, he can decide to throw in the towel and say that I want to leave this seat and venture differently. Yes, those will be 2 years, I think. 2 years, even 1 year, I think. It won't bring out a good picture of him, first of all, because it will seem as if he's playing the cards too high. And then it will seem as if he's trying to fool all Africans in that he just wants a temporary thing. So it will not paint a very good picture for him. Secondly, I don't think if Raila Odinga will leave that seat, if he goes and gets it, I don't think if him leaving that seat coming back will garner him the presidential seat here. It won't. It won't. So he should not do that. That will be a very bad move. Thirdly, this is the exit plan of Raila Odinga. It is the grand exit plan of Raila Odinga. You know, we say, mti ukiwa mkubwa sana, ukianguka huo unaanguka kwa kishindo kikubwa sana. This is Raila Odinga's exit plan. It is a very big seat. This is a seat that Jakaya Kikwete could have taken easily. This is a seat that January's Makamba would have taken. This is a seat that Uhuru Kenyatta would have taken. Uhuru Kenyatta is legible to go for this seat. But he has not taken it.
These were presidents.
These are presidents. So he should not look at this seat as something temporary. This is a very big seat. You are given a very big honor across the world, not even in Africa. All summits that include Africa, you are there. All summits and you are given, I think they are going to give Africa Union a permanent seat, even in UN bodies. So it is a very big seat that Raila Odinga will really be glad to have and will not leave it for anything else. Because, there is one thing, Jeff, that we cannot fight, and that is time. Time is going. Baba is getting old.
80.
He has to have an exit. This is his exit plan.
Yes. For us, we always pray for Baba that everything should be okay and Baba should win the seat so that Jacom should go and relax. That's what I can say. Yes.
I think he has a very tough task ahead. He should not tire. He has a very good team behind him.
True.
I think everyone wishes that Baba will go there.
As you always say that our president, he has never lost.
He has never lost anything. He has never lost anything.
So, remember, Baba is going to win automatically.
Baba is going to win.
Yes.
He is going to win. Though, as we are saying here, it won't be an easy win.
Yes.
He is going to fight for it, and he should not tire to fight for it. Every day should be a day to campaign. And he said that they are going to have a debate between all these contestants. We are waiting to see how that debate will go, because we want to see Baba on the podium. Frequently, Baba has not loved these debates.
He was, but he was not Baba.
So we are waiting to see this debate between Raila Odinga and Mohamed Youssef and the other two contestants from Mauritius and Madagascar. to see what they'll present. But at the end of the day, we know that that will not really count. What will count is behind the door, closed meetings.
What happened?
Yes, that these presidents
But
will have.
in that meeting, you can even convince 2 or 3 presidents over there.
Yes.
And it will going to
And
add.
public
What
support.
if Raila Amolo Odinga doesn't attend? Until next time, we say game over.